for graphing functions, just say page 14, okay? And you know, I would say this is hopefully you can make this smaller when it's on your study sheet, but that now you know where to get it, right? If you have to go back. So let's go to 14. I will say sketching / graphing quadratics. You must have, if you want full marks, you must label axes and curve. That's the first thing that the province will be looking at in grade 12. Are you labeling everything? Next, it's going to be having an appropriate scale. And this is the one that students sometimes find frustrating because it's like, what do you mean with scale? You determine the scale. What I do quite often is I go up by easy numbers that are easy for me to work with. So I might go up by tens, I might go up by 100, I might go up by 500 at a time. I go up by something that is very easy for me to work with. That's what a scale is. It has to be consistent, okay? So label, scale, and we're looking for an appropriate shape, okay? Points in the right place, okay? So that's basically what that means. Points in right place. So if we notice that your curve looks nothing like what it should look like, it doesn't go through the points that you know it goes through, you would lose marks immediately, okay? So that's that, okay? So let's start with the calculator part. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna give you a bunch of steps. Some of these you're not gonna need down the road. Enter equation into y1. I would say clear the rest. Step number 2. Reset window. How are you going to do that? You go zoom, you press zoom right, and then you go zoom standard. What that's going to do is, if this is your window, you're going to have -10 to +10 sideways, your x values, and you're going to have -10 to +10 up and down, your y. That's what zoom standard does, okay? 3, find the curve. You press zoom, and then it's zoom. Is it zoom fit? I always forget how to spell that. You press zoom and you want to use zoom fit. Yeah, zoom fit, that's the one. However, unfortunately, this isn't a one, it doesn't fix all problems. It will let you find the curve, but you have to adjust your window. So this is going to be somewhat of a learning curve for you. Adjust window to see, this is very important for a graph, okay? You want to see intercepts and vertex. What does that, I call this chasing the curve. Okay, so you can say that chase curve. More on that later, but that's a very important phrase. I use that a lot. You chase your curve until you see everything. All right, so for the window, you press window, okay? If you press the window button, which is on your calculator, right, there are 4 entries. These are the only 4 I ever want you to touch. I don't need you to touch anything else in here. The X-min and the X-max, as well as the Y-min and Y-max. Those are the only 4. I don't want you to mess around with any other ones. You may have it, if next year you don't have me as your teacher, they may say, hey, change that too. But I'm telling you, you don't need to change it, okay? It works without changing any of the other components. So I just need you to know that this represents your X-min. Like this bar right here is your X-min. The smaller you make your X-min, the more you're going to see to the left. This boundary over here is your X-max, right? So whatever you set your X-max to be, let's say you set X-max to 100, it means that your window will show an X value up to 100, okay? The next would be Y-min. It determines the bottom of your screen, and the top represents the Y-max. That's the top of your screen. So you have to adjust it until you see. This is your window, right? This is what you're going to see on your screen. Okay, once we've got that, we want to determine things, right? Determine intercepts and vertex. Okay, so this is important here. So to find the vertex, you use second trace. You press these buttons. Second trace is going to be used a lot, right? Second trace, then you have to determine, are you going to use a second trace max, or are you going to use second trace min? When do you use second trace max to find your vertex? It's when A is negative and your curve does this. In this case, your vertex is the highest, the max, right? So you're going to find it there. If A is positive, it points up. Honestly, whether A is positive or negative, even if you miss that, just look at the graph on your screen. You should be able to figure that out. Then you use a min. It's important that you pick the right one. It's either or. It's not both. Never. It has to be either this or this. Okay. To find the intercepts, the x-intercepts, you let y2 equal to 0. Then we're going to go second trace intersect may need to be done or repeated if two x-intercepts. Because I haven't talked about it yet. But sometimes a curve crosses it more than once, crosses your axis more than once. So if you have this scenario, you've got an x-intercept there, and you've got an x-intercept there, right? So if there's two, then you'll need to repeat this twice to find this one and another to find that one. Next is your y-intercept. If equation, I'm just going to go equation like that to shorten it a little bit, okay? Equation is in general form, it's simply 0C, right? So you need it like this. So don't use your calculator if it is in general form. You may, but it's gonna waste time, right? Otherwise, you press second, trace, value, and you let x equal to 0. This right here, in my opinion, deserves boxing. And if you don't want the first 4 steps because you're just going to remember it after a while, because you're going to have graphed so many times that you're like, I got it, I will still say this. Students forget by the time it comes to the exam. They're like, how do you do this again? What do you press again? If you're fine just coming back to this page, that is okay with me. But these are important steps to take because these are the things that should be on your graph if you're doing a good job. Okay, these are points that we actually want to see on your graph. We're almost done. Step 6, this is the last one. This is just if you need it, right? I'll say this, need more points. Because once we get to the word problems, you may need to find additional points. Okay? If x value is known, if the x value is known, then you go second, trace, value, and let x equal that number. Okay. So this is basically asking you why is a question mark? Why is a question mark in this case? I'll say it one more time. This scenario is for an instance where you know what the x value is, but you don't know what the y value is. Then you want to use this, you want to use second trace value. If y value is unknown, sorry, am I giving you? Yeah, if y value is known, then we press second. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm going to change this slightly from what I have here. Y2 means it's the second equation on your screen. Okay, we let y2 equal to that number that you know. So let's say the y value is 5. Then you would let y2 equal to 5. And then you go second, trace, intersect. And then you have that. So this is the case where the x value is unknown, but you do know what the y value is. That's basically going to be, most of our scenarios are going to involve this, right? Hey, I know what the x value is. I know that this rocket has been launched 4 seconds ago. How high above the ground is it? So physics, like if you're taking physics, you're going to have a lot of overlap, except for you don't get to use this calculator in physics, right? And so forth. All right. So this is how we do it. So I'm going to ask you to practice this without, we're not going to write much down yet on paper when we practice, but keep this, fold a corner or something so you can come back to it. So we're going to go to page 4, and we're going to try some of those things, okay? I'm going to fold that corner myself so I can quickly come back to it if I need to show you, okay? I know you tried some of these perhaps. Let's type in, let me see here. Let's type in together, let's type in this equation into our graph. Like I'm asking you to sketch that and make it appear on your screen. So I'm turning this on. I'm quitting whatever screen I'm in, okay? So you want to graph this. So you're going to press y equals. Clear everything that's in there. If you weren't here yesterday, I want you to know that plot 1, 2, and 3 should not be highlighted. If plot 1 is highlighted, which could be, make sure you hit enter so that when you move away from it, there should be nothing highlighted. That is important because sometimes there's an issue there. If you don't need it, it's going to give you an issue. It's going to give you an error. Right now, you're like, I don't worry about it, but down the road, you will. So let's type this in. Negative 7.81 x squared. And you're like, Mr. Dirksen, there's a t there. We don't have a t variable. We only have x. So anything that's on that side, any variable, you just make that x, okay? Plus 9. That's what I have. Let's hit graph all together. I hit graph. I see this, okay? Now, listen to this part carefully. If you press zoom fit at this point, everybody's gonna get a different final answer because the calculator is trying to make that fit based on what you currently see. So I will go zoom standard first. I recommend everybody try zoom standard first. And is zoom standard doing a pretty good job? Can you see the entire curve? Most importantly, can you see the vertex? Yes. Can you see the y-intercept? Yes. Can you see the x-intercepts? Yes. I wouldn't touch it. I would not press zoom fit. I will show you that you can. You can either press zoom 0 or zoom all the way down to zoom fit. If you do zoom fit, it will show you that. Now, is it hard to see it crossing everything? I would say it's much harder to see it crossing everything. Okay, so zoom fit may not always be your best choice. Now, another thing I want you to know, zoom has a ton of options. You may use any one you want, but there's a zoom in option. Let's all try that. So I want you to press zoom and zoom fit. Let's all do zoom fit so we all see kind of like the same thing. Press zoom fit. And let's try zoom in. So press zoom and then select zoom in. So now this cursor that you see is where it's going to zoom into. So if you want to go up to this region up here, you want to investigate a little bit up here, I'm going to press enter. And if you keep pressing enter, it's going to keep zooming into whatever you want to see. Okay, guys? What if you want to zoom back out? No problem. You go zoom out, and you just press enter, enter, until it zooms further out. So that's always there for you as well. Zoom in and zoom out is not a problem at all. Okay? So I'm going to go back to zoom standard. That seems to work pretty well for me. I'm happy with that. Okay? Now, let's try to find the vertex. Okay, let's try to find the vertex. What do you press to, if you go back to the steps here, how do you find the vertex? You have to press second, trace, and which scenario am I in? I'm in this scenario here, right? So I have to press max for me to be able to find the vertex. So let's go second, trace, follow me on this one. I'm going to go to max, maximum, hit max, select enter there. And here you have to pay attention, okay? We know that our vertex is up here, but we want to know exactly where it is. What does it say down here? it's asking you for a left boundary. What that means is the calculator is saying, give me a point to the left of this vertex, anywhere to the left. So let's go to the left with the cursor, with the arrow. So you want to give it any point to the left. So it doesn't matter how far down you go or how close to it you are, just press enter anywhere to the left of it. I hit enter. Then you go over and it says right boundary. So you want to go to the right of that vertex, anywhere to the right. And hit enter again. Do you see those two lines that were created? I don't know if they're kind of faint to see, but you're now telling the calculator the vertex is somewhere in between there. And that's exactly what you want. The last prompt is guess. Guess is just basically saying, can I start finding it? So I'm just going to hit enter to start the process. Hit enter. And it stops. It stops at the vertex. See how it's blinking there? It found the exact coordinates of the vertex. And here's the first problem that already arises. What is this? Like, what is x equal to? Some of you might say, oh, Mr. Dixon is negative 8.2. But it's not. E to the negative 7, that means that it's 8.2 times 10 to the negative 7. It's basically 0. It is 0. For all intents and purposes, it's 0. And y is equal to 9. So you found the vertex. It's 0, 9. Okay? Let's find these x-intercepts. How do you find the x-intercept? You let y2 equal to 0, and then we go second trace intersect. So let's do that. Press y equals. Let y2 equal to 0. You press y equals, right? You let y2 equal to 0. The equal signs have to be highlighted or else it's not going to graph it. You're not going to see it. Then hit graph. Do you see that red line? Y equals to 0 is that red line right there. By the way, if I made it 5, that red line would go through 5. Right? But I'm making it 0. Why is that? Because this is the x-axis, right? So I want to find the intersection here, and I want to find the intersection between the two lines here. That's how I'm going to find the exact coordinates of my x-intercepts. So let's try that together. Second, trace, intersect. Now, this is how this goes. You go, if you want to find this one first, go closer to it. You don't have to be right on it. It doesn't matter. The calculator is going to find it. But just go closer to the one you want to find. You're on the first curve right now. You hit enter. And then it says you're now on the second curve, which is the red one, right? If you go sideways, you're traveling on the red one. Hit enter anywhere on the red one. It doesn't matter. And what do you do when it says guess? You always press enter. Okay. It found the exact coordinate of the x-intercept, which is negative 1.070. Let's find this other one. You have to repeat the process. Second, trace, intersect. You go over. I use left and right arrows, right? I go over until I'm closer to this one right here. And then you press enter. You can kind of just press enter again on the red one. It doesn't matter. Enter, and when it says guess, hit enter one more time. You found the x-intercept on this side of the graph. Okay. So now we find the x-intercepts and the vertex, correct? We found the vertex and the x-intercept. What is left to be found? The y-intercept. Do we need to use our calculator for this one? Why not? Why not, Mr. Dixon? Because it's in general form, so I know it's 0, 9. But can you use your calculator to find it if you wanted to? Absolutely. Go try it. Let's all try it together. Second trace, value, it says value, that's the very first one. Let x equal to 0. So you actually enter 0 here. It's asking you, what x value do you want me to find the y value for? Hit enter, and it's 0, 9. See? It's 0, 9. In this case, guys, the vertex and the y-intercept are the same. Are you catching that? The x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the vertex are the same in this case. That's kind of a unique scenario. All right. I'm going to ask you right now to go to page 6. I have two functions there, two equations, two quadratic equations. How do we know they're quadratic? This has an x squared. We know this is quadratic because x will end up being squared on this one as well. For both of these, okay, I want you to try to find the vertex. I want you to find the x-intercept or intercepts. And I want you to find the y-intercept, the coordinates of that, okay? Let's start with this one, find all three. And I'm going to walk around and help you out because I have a feeling that some of you might encounter a few hiccups here and there. Okay? That's very normal. So type this in, get it on your calculator, go to page 14 to help you out further. And if you got this, you go over to this side. I will give you the answers already. Okay, right now it's about you trying to match what I got. Okay, so the vertex here should be negative 0.76, 2.75. There are two x-intercepts. What's the y-intercept? Is it 0 or negative 3? Yes, because this is in general form. But I want you to go through the motions and use your calculator anyways. Okay? Use your calculator anyways. So try to find this using your calculator. Okay? That's your task right now. See if that works for you. Appreciate you need to be able to find these, okay? So, here's your homework. I want you to try a couple, okay? I need you to go to page 9. That last part. For this part, just try to fill in as much as possible, form, opening, width, y-intercept, and so forth. Domain and range you can leave for now.